Movies, the final frontier. Their mission to bring entertainment and imagination to the world's population. This is the Evan Nova 95 YouTube channel. Its mission, to review these movies as well as entertain the subscripted audience, to boldly go where no reviewer has gone before. What's up, guys? Welcome to the final day of Star Trek week, and today we're going to be looking at the 2009 Star Trek Prequel / remake directed by JJ Abrams and stars Chris Pine. You can see I'm real excited for this one. Now I'm going to start this by saying right off the bat, I do not like this movie. I personally think this movie is an embarrassment to Star Trek and not even just a good movie in general. Oh boy. I don't really like much of anything about this movie. I don't like the actors portraying the characters, and I really don't like the director. Now, before we get into the review, let me just say I have nothing against the idea of a new Star Trek movie coming out for the modern day. The last Star Trek movie came out a while back, and I have nothing against starting a new story as long as it's faithful to the original and has good actors portraying all the characters we know and love. Sadly, all we got was this piece of crap, and it still boggles my mind to this day that people actually enjoy this movie. You know, I have friends who say this is the best Star Trek movie ever. This is the only good Star Trek movie. The other ones are boring. This one has action. This one has good characters. I'm just gonna say right off the bat, you guys have no idea what you're talking about, because this movie is anything but. Now, the movie is supposed to take place several years before the original Star Trek story started. It starts out with Kirk's father taking control of an Enterprise spaceship after a Romulan ship comes out of orbit and starts attacking them. Basically, what ends up happening is his dad does an honorable death by flying his ship into the Romulan ship to try and destroy it. Lo and behold, it doesn't work. Oh, and also the whole time, his pregnant wife gives birth to Kirk on a ship while everything is exploding. Yeah, because that totally happened. Then he's brought on board, and the Romulans ask what stardate it is because they're looking for Spock for some reason, and once he learns the stardate, because Spock actually isn't even born yet, he goes into a rage and kills him. Why he doesn't question him for information, or maybe to tell him to see if he can learn things about this new world, I have no idea. Why the Romulan spaceship just doesn't attack planet Vulcan now to prevent Spock's birth, I have no idea. Now, we cut to several years later where one of the most ridiculous openings I've ever seen happens. I think a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. It's the scene in the trailer, actually. Basically, we have little kid Kirk driving a car off a cliff, jumps out right before it goes over while being chased by a police guy. Why is this here? What does this add? Absolutely nothing. It's pointless, and there's no point of it existing. Then cut to a few years later where we have Kirk now as a young man witnessing the creation of the Enterprise. Now, here is where this movie missteps firstly. They make Kirk an absolute asshole in this movie. There's a scene in a bar where Uhura comes to talk to him about his father and about his connections to the Enterprise, and what does he do? He flat out sexually harasses her and then starts a bar fight. Oh yeah, we're rooting for this guy, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I admit Kirk has had his issues with women in the past, but the Kirk I know would never resort to sexually harming somebody, especially somebody on the Enterprise. They make him an incredibly unlikable character. I understand how they're trying to make him into a brash person who thinks he can do everything on its own, but they went way too far with this. Chris Pine is not a good choice for Kirk. And honestly, I think he looks too young to be Kirk, honestly. I don't care how far back you said it. I mean, I'm 17, and he doesn't look that much older than me, for God's sakes. And then we have Spock, played by Sylar from Heroes. Really? You're gonna choose him? Now, if you think Kirk was bad, guess how they portray Spock in this movie. Okay, as you guys all know, Spock is half human, and his father Sarek married a and a human woman and had a baby with her. That's fine, and he has gotten a lot of crap for it from other Vulcans. That's fine, but you know what ends up happening? Something that just seems incredibly out of place is he'll just get these fits of rage just out of nowhere and, like, starts attacking people. And I get it's a young Spock, but here's the thing. Spock would not lose his sense like that even in his younger days. Spock was trained since birth, practically, on how to suppress his emotions. Yeah, he was a little bit of an outcast, but he wasn't as much of an outcast as this movie makes him out to be. It's ridiculous. Hell, in the beginning of the movie, the Vulcans even are shown to have respect for him, some of the High Elders. And you'd think that the Vulcans who rule the planet would trust this guy enough to control his emotions. But nope, he just goes crazy. Ugh. Look, Siler, stick the TV. Just saying. Oh, and here's the kicker. Spock actually has a relationship with Uhura. That is so wrong. It's not even funny. Not to mention disgusting. I mean, oh god, Spock and Uhura. They never had any sort of relationship before this. Why Spock? Why Uhura? Spock barely had any relationships, period, throughout the series and the movie. Uhura didn't exactly go out on dates often either, so why the hell put them together? It's so abrupt, and it just comes out of nowhere. Now, back to the plot, we get to see, they actually make references to several old things that happen in the old movies. Not tributes, mind you, references. Kirk having sex with a green chick. Kirk taking the Kobayashi Maru. Spock saying live long and prosper. Okay, that's a given, I guess. They're not even creative. They just feel forced. All the like Scotty saying his famous lines. It just all feels forced. It just feels forced and wooden to me. And it's not even that clever. And you know what else? We do get to see Kirk's training, which it has been something I've always personally liked to see more of. But you know how much time they spend on it? Yeah, not that much. Basically, okay, he's arrived. Okay, he meets a friend. Okay, he takes the Kobayashi Maru. Okay, he's up in space. Okay, well, thanks for that insight, movie. You could have pretty much skipped that at that point. Ugh.